Man, what is level 5 doing? Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Botox Games. I have a couple pieces of news to discuss today. First up, we will be discussing the delay for Fantasy Life on Nintendo Switch from level 5, a highly anticipated Nintendo Switch exclusive coming out later this year. Then at the end of the video, we will also talk a little bit about the upcoming Nintendo Direct that was announced today. Get hyped, guys. It's just a museum Direct, but we'll be talking about that as well. So starting off, I want to cover this level 5 news, reading through their statement here from the official Fantasy Life website, I believe. Level 5 have decided to change the release date of Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, which was scheduled to be released on October 10th, 2024. We plan to announce more details about the new release timing and so on during the online event Level 5 Vision 2024 to the world's children. To all of you who have been looking forward to the release, we apologize for any inconvenience caused and sincerely appreciate your understanding. Thank you for your patience. Now listen, I'll say this first and foremost, if the game's not ready, great, delay it, that's fine. I do not understand how Level 5 is so mismanaged. This game was supposed to come out in 2023. I'm fine with it being delayed if quality is the issue, but genuinely, what were they thinking? Why did they think this game was ready to be released in 2023? It's like there's some disconnect between their developers and like their marketing team, and it feels like their marketing team is like one person that doesn't know what they're doing. It's just so disappointing because I got a review copy and did a video on Manga Channel Wired earlier this year, a game that once again had no marketing, and it was really good. It was an enhanced port and a first-time localization for that game, so it wasn't like a fully new thing from Level 5, but it was a really, really fun game, really fun mech combat game. And in general, the revival of Level 5 that was announced in, I want to say, the February 2023 Direct was so exciting. Level 5 has been dormant for so long since the 3DS era, at least in America anyway. So for them to come out swinging, being like, hey, we have this new IP, it's called Deca Police, coming out next year. We have a sequel to Fantasy Life coming in 2023. And then we have a new Professor Layton game, the next mainline Professor Layton game, going back to basics with Layton and Luke. That's coming out next year as well. But then for all of these things to get delayed, not just once, but twice in a lot of these cases, I'm just like, did you really think all of these things were going to release at once? On top of Mega Channel Wired, on top of Inazuma 11, and on top of all of that, if you remember earlier this year, I should say late last year, they had scheduled a Level 5 Vision, as they call them, their Level 5 Direct. In November of last year, they scheduled one for April, and they teased a new Yokai Watch game, which is a huge deal. That would be the first new Yokai Watch game, new mainline Yokai Watch game in like, what, 7 years or 6 years or something like that? So, pretty big deal. They scheduled that event for April, and then they delayed an event. How do you delay an event and not give it like another release date? I don't get that. And then even with this Fantasy Life I delay, they aren't giving a new release date or even a release window. I presume this game is 2025 now, but we don't really know that. They just say, yeah, it's delayed. It's like, what's going on? How could you be this mismanaged? Now, it does say in the little like statement put out by Level 5 on the website, it says, we plan to announce more details about the new release timing and so on during the online event Level 5 Vision 2024. So they're still referencing this event that was supposed to happen back in April, but they haven't given a date for it. My hope is that maybe this would happen around TGS this year. They usually have done one during TGS or around TGS, or at least they did last year anyway. So maybe we get that Level 5 Vision in September. We see the announcements of Yokai Watch 5, whatever they call it, right? But the fact that they're even referencing that event after they delayed it last minute, but they haven't given it a new date is just like kind of inherently frustrating. Like I said, if quality is the concern, then great, yeah, take your time. I just don't understand how they thought these games would be ready. It's actually funny, right before they announced the delay for this game, I had tweeted out, like, is Fantasy Life really not getting a physical release? And I feel like I jinxed it almost, because like 20 minutes later, Nintendo of Europe and UK and all that, they put out the tweets being like, saying that the game was delayed, and I'm just like, I just don't get it, man. Level 5 is such a great developer, so to see them squandering this grand return, if you want to call it that, is just a little disappointing. I'm optimistic for the future, I guess I'll say that. Like, I'm excited to play these games. My excitement level for Fantasy Life I hasn't really changed, and I will say, to be honest, October 10th was kind of a bad time for me. There's a lot coming out in October that I want to play. Specifically, I think Metaphor ReFantazio and Dragon Ball Sparking Zero come out the same day on PS5. And realistically, both of those games would take precedence over Fantasy Life. So if Fantasy Life gets like a nice January or February release date, that would be perfect for me. But with no new release date set, I'm just curious, like, when is it gonna be? If you remember back earlier this year and late last year, there was a lot of speculation regarding Switch 2 and Fantasy Life and just Level 5 in general, that maybe Level 5 was kind of waiting to release a lot of these games to time it and kind of coincide it with the launch of the Switch 2. And on the one hand, I almost want to buy into that conspiracy theory because it's so weird. It's so mismanaged and so the marketing and communication has been so bad from Level 5. Maybe they thought the Switch 2 was coming out this year, right? Maybe Nintendo said, hey, we're targeting late 2024 or something. That's why they were like, okay, Fantasy Life I, even though it's a Switch 1 game, you know, you kind of get a boost inherently of new people being interested in the Switch ecosystem. So, okay, maybe you kind of improve your sales a little bit that way. But then supposedly the Switch 2 was delayed internally, as a lot of outlets have reported, right? So it gets delayed to 2025. Then they're just like, okay, well, we already had the date for Fantasy Life I. Should we release it? Should we not? Then at this point now, they just decided to delay it, but they didn't give it a date. Is that because they don't know when the Switch 2 is coming out? Is that part of it? I don't know. To be honest, like, I kind of want to believe that, but at the same time, I don't know if Level 5 is an organized enough company to, like, be that clued in at this point. Level 5 used to be a very, very close partner with Nintendo. But at this point, it's like, if Nintendo was truly communicating with this studio this closely about their next-gen launch plans, I refuse to believe that the marketing and messaging would be this messy. I mean, this is ridiculous. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm curious to see when all of these things will release. I think Inazuma 11 is also slated for this year, and that's had an open beta, I believe, and I think that open beta has like been going all summer. So maybe that'll hit this year, and then next year we have Deca Police scheduled, and I believe Professor Layton in the New World of Steam is also slated for next year. So we'll see if that happens. I kind of doubt it, but I don't know, man. What a mess. Now, I will say, it is kind of interesting and maybe worth noting that most of Nintendo's official Twitter accounts did tweet out this information. I think Nintendo of America just retweeted it from the official Fantasy Life account, but like Nintendo Europe, Nintendo UK, they actually made their own tweets about this delay, which I found kind of peculiar. I can't really think of another time where Nintendo announced the delay of a third-party game. Like, that's how I found out. I found out because of the European account, and then later I saw the Fantasy Life tweet. For those that don't know, as far as we know, Nintendo wasn't planning on publishing any of these upcoming Level 5 games. I do kind of wonder if maybe Nintendo was, like, reevaluating everything, and maybe they were like, okay, well, we don't have X amount of Switch games for next year. Maybe if we partner with Level 5, we can publish Fantasy Life for them, handle all those costs, Deca Police, and Professor Layton or something, and then make them proper Switch exclusives. Because if you remember, during one of the Level 5 visions, they had said, like, we're evaluating other platforms to bring Fantasy Life I too. Right now, it's only announced for Switch. I was assuming it would come to PS4 at that point as well, but the way they tweeted it out on all their official social media channels does kind of make me wonder, like, maybe Nintendo picked this game up. I don't think there's really a precedent for that, but it would be interesting. But with that said, I do want to shift gears to a completely different topic here, just to kind of talk about it a little bit. So, yesterday at about 3 p.m. Pacific time, Nintendo announced a Nintendo Direct. Yes, it's real. There is an August Nintendo Direct, but it's actually a Nintendo Museum Direct. Not what I expected. I don't think anybody expected it. I made a joke with fellow YouTuber Andres Restart. He made a video titled, "This Nintendo Direct May Surprise You." And yeah, no, he did not. He was right. He was right. He was completely right. This Nintendo Direct did surprise me indeed. So yeah, at 3 p.m. later today, Pacific time, of course, like I said, Nintendo is hosting a Nintendo Museum Direct to, I guess, showcase and I guess show off the insides of the new Nintendo Museum that's opening later this fall in Kyoto. It's going to be a 10-minute direct. They actually put out a tweet being like, there will be no game announcements or mention of the Switch successor during this presentation, which is just hilarious that they have to do that to kind of calm people down when it comes to new games in Switch 2. So yeah, very interesting direct happening later today. I should be streaming it unless anything comes up. I will be going live just for this 10 minutes, just because I think it's kind of funny to like do a reaction to a museum. Very reminiscent of I think there was like a 3DS Louvre Direct back in the day, because they had that like Louvre software for the Louvre, if you remember that. So that's a random throwback, but kind of reminds me of that. But actually, I'm actually excited to see what this museum is going to look like. I think it's cool that Nintendo's getting their very own museum in Japan. So yeah, I'll be going live for that if you're interested in watching me react to a museum announcement, I guess. Very weird, but Cool. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. How do you feel about this Fantasy Life delay? That's the main topic of today's video. So how do you feel about that? How do you feel about this direction Level 5 has been going in over the past 2 years in general? And are you looking forward to this Nintendo Museum Direct? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Of course, subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch news, reviews, discussions, all of that fun stuff. Check out my new channel at It's Amiibo. Check out my Twitter at BoTalksGames. And until next time, folks, peace.